So we had a situation where we talked about a manager and a club being patient. Here is a situation where there is already talk of the man 7 games in being replaced at Forest. That's crazy to me. Is that a realistic situation?
I feel like even before he took charge of his first game, there were some people saying that. And this is an example where I think in football we've found ourselves in this place where you can just say whatever you want. And for me, Ange's done very well wherever he's gone. I even remember when he first went to Celtic, and even at that point, and when he was at Celtic, he wiped the floor. He was exceptional. Yep. Before he went there, everyone was like, "Who's this guy? No, I don't think we want him." And that seems to just be the narrative, unfortunately, that follows him. And there was a lot of that at Spurs. I know their domestic season last year was a disappointment. He acknowledged that though, but he got them a European trophy. I think it's been so harsh, and it looks a complete mess how it's been handled, and I don't think it's a good look, the amount of chants that have been, heard for fans and people in stadiums calling for managers to get sacked. And yeah, I think clearly their run has not been good, but chanting that from the get-go, that doesn't help any team.
Can I back that? Because if you look at last season, look at this season, Aston Villa winless in their first 6 matches of the season, and everyone's talking about Emery being under pressure. Since then, they've won 4 games in a row. Last season, I want to take you back to last season, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace managed to win 1 Premier League game in 5 months, but Palace stuck with him because they knew who he had, they knew what he could do. Even a good manager can have a bad run, and that's what's happening with Postecoglou. But as you've been saying, Rach, his first season, he finishes 5th with Tottenham. His second season, he wins the Europa League and qualifies them for the elite European League, the Champions League. I think, and I've been in press conferences when he said it, he talks about his Australian football background, and he's very open about the fact that people look down their noses at him in Europe because he doesn't come from one of the superpowers. And I am such a big fan of his willingness to defend himself. People say he had a meltdown, 5-minute rubbish. He has gone out there to defend himself, and even though I'm a journalist, I'm very much of the opinion, if you have other opinions about other people, you can't be upset when those other people say, I'm going to come out and I'm going to defend my record and my ability to win things. And the point of football is to win things. That's what this guy does.
We're going to put the record up on screen though, to show just kind of how bad it is. In 23 matches in the Premier League this calendar year, there are 3 victories for Ange Postecoglou. But the ultimate shutdown.
Those numbers disguise the fact, because obviously 23 games, they would include Spurs, right?
Yeah.
And when it became clear that they were on their way to the Europa League final, he said, I'm going to put my eggs all in one basket. You cannot tell me that there is anybody at Tottenham Hotspur who is enjoying Champions League football right now who should not be grateful to him for doing that, because in winning the Europa League, I was about to say nobody cares when he finished. People obviously have used that as a stick to beat him with.
Yeah.
But their presence in the elite European League, their ability to attract players, the revenue that they get from being in the Champions League is down to Postecoglou.
What I was going to say is those numbers obviously get shut down because they did win a trophy. And he said all along, in my second season, I will win a trophy, and I'm going to deliver. And he did. He stuck to his guns. He provided. It was the ultimate mic drop moment. And I think at Nottingham Forest, I don't know if you agree, the situation and the way in which he came in, he was announced on the Thursday. He took charge of the game against Arsenal just a matter of hours later, I think 48 hours or something later. He still has not had real time to work with this team. I know the fans are turning on him, but when you look at the time frame, it does feel a little bit unfair, doesn't it?
Yes, it's been a short period, and even you look at those stats, he wouldn't sit here and be like, yeah, I'm pleased with that. That's the outcome I was hoping for, and I want that to improve, clearly. I think that, but that's the thing. The point is, since he's taken over at Forest, they've not had that win yet under him. And I just think the narrative in this short period has just all been negative, and that also affects the reality of the situation and the environment and the players and the training day to day and the pressure. Those things don't lead to a greater likelihood of results. And that's what I always just think when you're, as a fan, and, openly I support Aberdeen. And there's been lots of times when we've not been doing well. And you can sit in the kitchen table and you can, have a little rant with your family and enjoy that. But when you go to the games, for me, I'm always like, we've got to back the team, because that will be the best chance for us to win. And we might still not win, but it's the best chance. And I just think right now at Forest, they need everyone and everything to come together and move in the right direction. I was there opening game of the season for them this year, and the place was electric. And I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm so intrigued to just feel what it's like, because I just can't believe we're here today.
Yeah, we'll come back and tell us next time, won't you? We're moving on to their opponents, Chelsea, though, because Chelsea and their discipline have been discussed recently. Enzo Maresca was sent off in that result against Liverpool. Do you agree with this? It was just passion in the moment, the celebration. You don't have a problem?
I don't have a problem in the slightest. The whole point of football, I argued with the referee about this last week. The whole point of football is for moments just like the one that Esteval provided. So if you have an explosion of joy like the one that Maresca demonstrated, why are you penalising a guy for that? And I don't blame the referee in particular. I blame the ruling. The ruling is created by someone who clearly has never played football, with all the stakes that are involved in it. That goal it sends him into the international break in a completely different frame of mind. It could potentially ease the pressure on him. It could be the difference at the end of the season between a Champions League place and a Europa League place. And it is against a side that everyone said was going to smash them to pieces at Stamford Bridge. I have zero problem with those pictures. Absolutely not.
But the rest of the red cards, however, and him being slightly delulu and saying we don't have a discipline problem when you've had that number of red cards in a short space of time, that's a problem. It's a worry, especially in defence where they were already short.
Yeah, I think the problem comes is I don't think it's a discipline problem per se. Like the Sanchez one, for example, it wasn't a malicious tackle, wasn't he lost his head, he made a decision, he got it wrong, misjudged it, and the rules say that's a red card. Similarly, defensively, last minute tackle, you're trying to get the ball, you slightly get it wrong, punishment's harsh. They probably need to try and get that consistency, which they're struggling with because of injuries, suspensions, these things. Because the types of mistakes they're making are ones where I think if you get a bit of continuity and a bit of rhythm, those moments that occur in games will be less and less.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's made things very difficult for them. Let's see what happens with Forest against Chelsea. We've got to go to a short break, though, but coming up...
Wow, Chelsea going to Nottingham Forest for Premier League game tomorrow. This is going to be a difficult game. I mean, Angie is currently under pressure, and Chelsea are coming from that late minute goal against Liverpool to claim all 3 points, are currently on a high, even though they are without Cole Palmer, but they are finding ways, to win games, without their talisman. So I expect Chelsea to be on top of their game again, and I expect Nottingham Forest to come out fighting at home, fighting for their manager. There are a lot of stories out there that if Angie loses the game against Chelsea tomorrow, he will be sacked. So if the players will be fired up, for this game, because they will want to protect their manager, and the manager will be on the edge. He will want the best out of his players. Currently, he hasn't been top of his game, for Nottingham Forest. For Angie, 23 matches, just won only 3 games, drawn only 4 games, lost 16 points per game, 0.7. Then win percentage is 17.4. That doesn't read well. That doesn't sound good. He's a man under pressure, but football is a funny game. Chelsea fans will tell you that they are very good at giving giving gifts to managers who are under pressure. Remember, Amorim was struggling to win games at Manchester United, and Chelsea went there and he beat them. So there must be something. There must be something, with Chelsea against teams who are struggling to win games. So tomorrow's game on paper